let's talk hay. So we make our own hay here. So I'm stood in the field where we make our hay from. It's about 12, just over 12 acres. So from the beginning of April until we make the hay, we don't let alpacas graze it. We do a bit of preparation work before they come into it to make sure that there aren't any grown weeds, and we've trimmed the grass. And then once the grass is sufficiently grown and we've got a dry window, we cut our hay. We bale it into big bales, these big round bales. Each one holds about 10 times the amount of a small bale, which you'd be able to pick up and move around. And we actually wrap it. That means it can stay outside. So you can see this netting over it. That stops the birds pecking holes in it. The way it works, the hay is dry. So actually, if it wasn't wrapped and we kept it under cover, it would be fine. But because we're keeping it outside, that stops the rain getting in. We've got just 4 left from last year, which are probably we shall stop using fairly quickly now, because this hay's had a few weeks to mature, perhaps a couple of months to mature. And bales like this need moving with a tractor, so they don't suit people who just have a small number of alpacas. And if it's not quite dry enough, so it's really haylage, then once opened, oxygen gets in, it starts to rot, and it needs to be eaten quite quickly. Our farm, we'd get through a big bale like this in probably a week to 10 days. Certainly during the winter, they eat less hay in the summer. So we move it into the barn with the tractor, we unwrap it. If it isn't quite as dry we want it, then we make sure it gets spread out amongst the hay feeders to let it air and dry whilst they're eating it. So it doesn't go off even in the week that it's open. But we think this year it's quite dry. Once we open the first bale this year, we will send a sample off to get it tested, so we know the quality of nutrition that's coming from it. So there's just a bit about hay for you. And let's just finish with some lovely alpacas. So these are the non-mums grazing away. They're in a much smaller field. They're all too fat, but they will be going into a new field in the next few days.